So,
Thank you.
How do we make sure that the people arriving in this country are not a threat?
Well, Patrick, it's very, very difficult. First of all, let's talk about the challenges to doing it rather than just the process. OK, first of all, around 75% of the people who land on the shores of the south coast here, having crossed in small boats, do not have any form of documentation whatsoever. That's the first problem. We don't know who they are. We've only got their word for it. And only very rarely do we have such contacts with the home authorities, wherever they claim to have come from, to be able to check. So, they could be telling us that they are Fred Bloggs from Iraq, and they're actually Joe Smith from Turkey. We really, really don't know. No. So that's problem number one. What happens is, first of all, when they arrive, they're registered. Obviously, they're recorded, their arrival is recorded, and then they go through a number of immigration sort of stages, if you like. If they're claiming asylum, then they are going to be interviewed. And really, this is the crux of the vetting. That interview will contain sort of basic questions such as what's your name, your date of birth, where have you come from, and so on. Just trying to establish a picture. There is very rarely a way that we can confirm any of that, as I've just said. There is a certain amount of screening that might be done through biometrics, and I'll give you an example. British and American forces in Afghanistan took biometric data of every single prisoner that was taken, sort of Taliban person or somebody who was supporting the Taliban who was arrested by coalition forces. Now, we have that information on a database, and we can check biometric data that we take from people who've crossed the channel against that. And indeed, as a result, partly of that sort of approach, MI6 last year identified 2 people who'd landed in the UK across the channel who were on international terrorism watch lists. That's not the point that you addressed just now, which was the criminality and the sort of, if you like, the cultural differences in terms of behaviour.
Well, it's a big thing.
But that's roughly the procedure anyway. The only other checks are in terms of documentation. Final point to say there, Patrick, is actually, although the law says the onus is on the asylum seeker to prove and provide evidence that they are
it's clearly not, is it?
Say they are.
It's clearly not, Henry. Sorry to interrupt. That might be what they say and what the thing is. But, I mean, it's clearly not, because we're not sending anyone anywhere. The onus clearly is on us to try to prove that they're not who they are, as opposed to the other way around. That, in practical reality...